Chapter 7. So we're going to study single cycle, focus on single cycle. I show you multi-cycle for the quick diagram, but we are not going to spend much time on the multi-cycle. But pipeline is going to be something we'll spend quite some time. So major components for this chapter is a single cycle and pipeline architecture. Microarchitecture, how to implement the architecture in hardware. So far, we saw all of those instructions. I know 2-3 of you actually stopped by my office about the PC values in the branch, YPC plus 8, how we implement that in the hardware. I'll show you all of those in here. So the functional blocks, what we call data path, and then we have to control all of those units. We'll go through all of those. So in the multiple implementation for the single architecture, so typically we go from the single cycle and then multi-cycle and then pipeline. Our class is a multi-cycle is a little bit different from the single cycle and a little bit different from the pipeline diagram. That's why I'll focus on single cycle and pipeline. Pipeline is based on the single cycle. Program execution time, it's just performance analysis. So when we say execution time, any given set of instructions, we need to use this. So total number of instructions, obviously how many instructions we are going to execute it. That's the main factor for execution time. And then each instruction, how many cycles required to execute that each instruction. And then time second over number of cycles. So sometimes we use CPI as a clock cycle per instruction, and then clock period as a seconds per cycle. As something you saw in the 312, go up, down, that's the clock cycle, right? So positive edge clock cycle, negative edge clock cycle. These days, we can execute multiple instructions within a cycle. IPC instructions per cycle. So basically, when you look at the performance, it's about the money and the fast, right? Execution time. If you spend more money, obviously, we'll have a faster machine. If it's not really faster machine, it's a little bit cheaper. So dual processor, quad processor, all of those type of things. ARM processor, we look at these 3 different types: data processing instructions, memory instructions, and branch instructions. So we're going to go through these each instruction in a single cycle data path, and we'll look at it. So these are elements. So in your diagram, you see these elements, right? You don't have to copy this down, just look at your diagram. And we have a piece clock at the first. And the next one is the instruction memory. All of those instructions will store in here, all of the instructions. And then all of those registers, how many registers we have in the ARM architecture? 16, register 0 to 15. Register 15 is a PC. Okay, so register 15, we're going to use the PC program counter stored into the register 15. And then the main memory, main memory we have here is called data memory. So we talked about in the chapter 6, we said LDR and STR, those are the 2 instructions getting into this data memory. All other instructions, we are not going into this, we're going to bypass this. What's the length of this instruction memory? How many bits? Each instruction, how many bits? 32 bits. The registers, how many bits? 32 bits. And then data memory, main memory as well, 32-bit, all 4 bytes. Now we saw this LDR and this instruction of LDR, and they're composed of these different parts, the condition part, opcode part, RN, RD, and immediate 12. First thing we want to do, we want to fetch instruction. That means we need to go inside of this instruction file or instruction memory, grab that instruction, and then first thing we're going to put it into our A1. So first instruction going into that. So it's going to be RN. And as you can see, 19 bits through 16 bits, that is Rn, 19 bits through 16 bits. The next one is going to be 12 to 15 Rd, and then also 11 to 0. All of this guy, we're going to put it into sign extension box. This one is not sign extended. Okay, so just extend it to whatever the values. But the branch instruction, we're going to have signed instruction. So there's a control line to control for this guy as a sign extended or non-sign extended. So once we have that, we're going to add our contents of Rn plus immediate 12, and we're going to go into memory. Yeah, so this is 0 to 11 because we have a memory. And this can be immediate 24 for a branch. So it depends on the instruction. It shows different numbers, but it can be done by control line to use only 12 bits, 24 bits, and data processing, we use only 8 bits. So now, how many bits? How many bits for this line? 4. Why 4? We're going to just call the name of register. Contents of register is inside of this register file. Therefore, this output is going to be 32 bits. So this line is just a number for the name of the register, which is 0 through 14. 15 is designated in here. So this bit, this bit, this bit, they are all 4 bits. They are all 4 bits because we just need to call the name of register. However, output from this register file is going to be 32 bits because it's actual contents of register. And ALU, we add them up. So in order to add properly these two guys, we have to have 32 bit of this immediate value. So that we add those two to 32 bits and then read the contents of memory. And then what? We need to put it back to, right back into register. So we're going to look at this using actual numbers together. Yeah, this guy. So for this, we need to read the contents of Rn, right? So this is Rn. And there's a line actually, but we are not going to read this. There's a random numbers, but we just need to highlight which line, which data path actually is being used for a very specific instruction. Since there is no Rm, this is for Rm. So there is no output. Well, there is output, but we don't select that. All right, good question. And then PC can be source and destination of the instruction. So we have PC, the program counter, going into instruction memory, grab the instruction, and then what happened? PC plus 4. Why PC plus 4? Is all byte addressing so that I can grab the next instruction. Next instruction's address should be current PC plus 4. So this is the single cycle processor that you saw in your handout. Let's work on this. Copy this down in your first diagram and then write down LDR R1, R2, number 5 in the handout. So in that diagram, I want you to highlight PC plus 4 and then PC plus 4 getting into another ALU to make PC plus 8. We're going to use this R15 for the branch. If this instruction is branch, we're going to use it. If it's not, we'll just discard. But there is always, we're going to store PC plus 8 into R15. And then we need to add Rn, Rd, and immediate. So Rd, we're going to update the new value Rd after we access to the memory location where contents of Rn plus immediate value. Therefore, we're going to select 0 as this marks, and we're going to get Rn, contents of R2, and this value is going to be 0010. Why? Because it's R2. So I want you to write down this 0010 right here for this instruction. And then RD. RD is 1. So this guy is going to be 0001. Now for the immediate, we have a 5. So 000, all those 0. And then last 4 digits is going to be 0101. So we have fit in 12 bits of extended, and then output should be 32-bit. Okay, we're going to put a whole bunch of zeros in front of it. For register 1, is waiting for the values coming up from the main memory. It's a single cycle. It happens within 2 nanoseconds. But as a 2 nanosecond is a long time for our computing system, so it's a waiting. This guy is waiting for the updated contents of R1. And now we need to find the right memory address. How? We're gonna add contents of Rn. We don't have the information, so that's why we use the bracket. Whenever you see the bracket, that means the contents of R2 plus number 5, add them together, go into the memory, and grab the content of that location and bring it back to here. So WD3 is actual content of memory location where contents of R2 plus 5, that's the memory address. Go there, grab it, bring it in here, and store into register 1. For chapter 7 quiz and exam, I'm going to randomly place the boxes and point some of these lines, and you should figure it out actual number for those lines and put it into the box. That's going to be the quiz problem, exam problem for chapter 7. I'm going to put in box to here as well. If I do, you need to do what? We're not using it, so you just need to simply put X there. If I ask you to find the value of this guy, we are not using it for LDR. Therefore, you need to just give X for this box. Yeah, let's say we have R2 as something like this. So let's use the real number now. Then the content of R2 is 11. So this guy should be 11. 11 plus 5 is a 16. So we need to go data memory, address 16, read the content, and address 16. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, F, F. Then A, B, C, D, E, F, F, F is this guy, and bring it into R1. Therefore, after we execute this, contents of R1 should be OX, A, B, C, D, E, F, F, F. So in this case, very bottom, this result line is going to be 0x, A, B, C, D, E, F, F, F. That's what we read from the main memory. What's the next memory instruction? STR. Copy this down. In your second diagram, you copy down STR, R11, R5, and 10. Then we have a PC, PC plus 4. I mean, that's always there. We are not going to highlight it. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to find any values in here. It's obvious. 19 through 16, R5. So therefore, this one is a 5, 0, 1, 0, 1. We have a RD 15 through 12. It's going to be 1, 0, 1, 1. And this mux is going to be 1. This mux is going to be 0. And we have a number 10 going through extended unit. And right there, that's going to be our 10. When we had the LDR, we had this guy, right? A3. But STR, we have this mux. We're going to choose 1, and the path is going to go that way. Well, there's also a path in here. So A sub 3 is also 1, 0, 1, 1, but we are not going to use that value. So that's something we can control. Now, why? Why this one, not this one? In the LDR, we have this A3. So in the LDR, what's the value of that mux then? What's the value of this mux? If it is a 0, then we're going to fit this 0 to 3, which is 0, 1, 0, 1. No, we don't want to. If you select 1, then we're going to have this 15 through 12. It's going to go here, and here should be X. If you give me any value, 0 or 1, it's wrong. It's X. We don't care. That's the don't care condition. Now for store, we have 1 to select this guy. Why? What's the difference between LDR and STR? So for this problem, we have LDR. What was the register number? R1, R2, number 5, offset. Now, for this time, we have STR, 11, R5, number 10. What do we do in LDR? We just did that. What do we do LDR? Exactly. We're going to read the content of R2 plus number 5, that's the memory address that we need to go, grab the contents of the memory, bring it to R1, right? But store, this is RD, this is RD. However, store is the only exception. This is not the destination register. That's what we said in the chapter 6 at the beginning. So what we do in the store, we need to read the contents of R11, store into data memory, where memory address of content of R5 plus 10. So this guy, we need to read it. We are not going to store back to here. When we use this A3, we have to use this WD3 as well together, so that we can bring it back to whatever the result, bring it back to in the register. Because this A3 is our destination register for add, subtract, LDR, all other instructions. So we need to write back to A3. However, the store, we have to read the content. That's why we're going to fit this in here, and we're going to bypass. We have to store that content into memory. Make sense? This line is going to be 0101, and then this guy is 1011, which is 11. This is the number 10. So number 10 and content of R5, that's the memory address that's going to go. And then content of R11 is going to store into memory, and that's it. There's no feedback to register file for this instruction. Yeah, ALU result is find in the memory address so that I can store content of R11 into right place in the memory. Yeah, it's going to be all data processing instructions, add, subtract, and all of those, we have a destination register, right? Just add, for example, add R5, R6, R7, content of R6 plus content of R7, add them up, put it back to R5. So we're going to go through here and then add them up. We don't have to go through here, so there's a bypass and then store. So let's take a look at the data processing instructions. Add RD, RN, RM, or add RD, RN, and immediate. There are 3 different types in the data processing instructions, right? Immediate, register, register shift. So let's take a look at this. So in this case, we have a RN. This is for RD, and then immediate. Go through that, add them up, and bypass store into register file. So let's take a look at this. So in your third diagram, copy this down, add R10, R12, 7, and then label that. So this is 12, this is 10, content of R12 plus 7, and store back to register file. New value for R10. Yeah, this one, we need to add content of this guy plus this, right? So we need to look at the path for this guy. We need to get this value. So if we had this one, I6, I7, if that is the case, we're going to have this guy and this guy. So the question is, why not RD2? It's the RD2 case. I'll show you next slide. Is they add R5, I6, I7. If you have 2 registers we need to add, then we need to select this guy and this guy. Then output is going to be this guy and this guy. Add them up, put it back to R5. If we have add R1, R2, R3, this is the case where I want you to copy this down in the 4th diagram. R1, R2, R3. We have R2, R3, add them up, put it back to R1. So that's the highlight. We need to use PC plus 8 for our branch, and that this is extend 1. Okay. IMM source 10. This guy is 0 extended for the immediate 8, 0 extended immediate 12, and sign extended for immediate 24. Only we use sign extended for branch. Based on this control line, we can do 0 extended or sign extended for that. And this is the branch we're going to go through. We'll work on it next time.